Welcome to the Achilles Hypnosis Podcast, episode number 7, Martha Harrison, and the hypnosis in Utah. So today, this is an interview done back in 2018, so you'll hear that later in the episode. So, Martha's newest training will be in the springtime, and also you just go to brigham-hypnosis-ok. You'll find out everything about her and everything that she's doing at that point as well. And today we have Martha Wilks Harrison. She's a certified instructor and board certified hypnotherapist for the National Guild of Hypnotists, and will mesmerize you with her southern charm and knowledge of hypnosis and its many uses for yourself as well for your clients or others you care about. She's had a private practice for 32 years and will share with you everything she has learned and all you need to know to set up your own business. The hypnosis training course will teach you how to hypnotize, what to do in each of the 4 sessions that they have, and whatever you do with your clients, and how to construct powerful hypnotic suggestions. And she's been a registered nurse and founded the Brigham Hypnosis Center in 1987 in brigham-city. She's a registered nurse, was initially certified as a clinical hypnotherapist by the American Council of Hypnotist Examiners, and she was the keynote speaker in the international conference in 1993, speaking on sexual addiction. And then she later affiliated herself with the National Guild of Hypnotists, where she is currently a board-certified hypnotherapist and instructor. She has used hypnosis as a tool to assist clients to take over their lives in the areas of smoking, weight, peak athletic performance, compulsive sexual behaviors, better concentration, stress, sleep, and pain. And in here we also talk about what a hypnotist can do and can help you with, because I mentioned that I had a client or a prospective client who didn't want to use me, so they kind of found another hypnotist, but I didn't have IBS on my website. And so we kind of talked about that in the interview as well. And again, I hope you enjoy this. And again, this is the Achilles Hypnosis Podcast. And enjoy the interview.
I got involved in hypnosis years and years ago. I was a registered nurse at the time, worked in intensive care, coronary care at the hospital, and a really close friend of mine, a dear friend, was diagnosed with prostate cancer at age 39. That's very rare. That usually happens after someone's 60 years old. And anyway, they sent him out to the City of Hope in California, which is a cancer research center. And there, they did a lot of different things, but one of the things that they was so impressive to me, is they taught him how to use hypnosis to manage his pain. And the cancer had already metastasized. He had tumors in his lungs, and it was in his bones. And that was very painful. But he was using hypnosis and no narcotics to manage his pain. So as a nurse, that was especially interesting to me. And so the other thing he was doing that I didn't know anything about until he explained it, he would take about a half hour every morning and every evening, even if we were all there with him, which we were for a little while, and he'd excuse himself, and he'd go back to his bedroom and basically put himself into a hypnotic trance and spend the time visualizing his healthy cells destroying the tumors. Now for him, as a former Green Beret, it was war games within his body, basically is what he was doing. And he remained at the City of Hope for a while, and then he went back to Georgia to his home. And he asked his family to never say the word cancer in his presence again. And he did pass away years and years later at age 66 from a heart attack. it appeared as though no cancer ever was there or came back once he went out to Georgia. And back in that day, we're talking late 70s, early 80s, when somebody had metastatic cancer where it had spread like that, it was a death sentence. And so that was really a miracle. That what it told me is there's great power in the mind, and I needed to learn more about hypnosis. So I don't know if it was a few weeks later or a few months after my visit out there to see Charles, but I saw an ad in the Salt Lake paper about a hypnosis training that was going to be taking place, and I just thought to myself, I've got to be there, I've got to know more about this. And so I took the trainings all the way up to a clinical hypnotherapist, which I think was 4 levels up, and never looked back. Pretty soon I was not doing the nursing anymore. I was strictly working with hypnotherapy with clients. And that is how I got involved in it. That was like 31 years ago.
Awesome.
And I've seen so many people be able to turn things around, mostly habits and problems. People will come to a hypnotist because they're doing something they don't want to be doing, or they aren't doing something that they'd like to be doing. And so it was the beginning of a great adventure for me, career-wise. I've loved it, loved every day of it since then.
That's awesome. And you kind of alluded to the next point, which is what can hypnosis be used for?
I could be real general and say absolutely anything, but I'll be more specific. The common things, the bread and butter, as they say sometimes with hypnotists, is smoking cessation, weight reduction, peak athletic performance, peak in sales, really to get a peak performance in anything. I've worked with high school athletes. I remember one youngster was running track. His dad brought him in, and we did some things that just turned him loose out there on the track, and he won. He did very well. Some come in to improve their sports like golf, bowling, basketball, sleep problems. If a person's feeling down and out, they want to get feeling better, they'll come in and we'll address that kind of thing. Confidence and dating, for example. Taking tests is another one. They come in to get motivated to do something they're not doing. Some other interesting ones are fear of failure. And even more interesting is that one, fear of success. That might sound odd, but there are those who hold themselves back because they're actually afraid to succeed. Compulsive sexual behavior is a real popular item today. There's many that get trapped in that web with pornography. And hypnosis has proven to be quite effective in helping them to get out of that. So honestly, there's not hardly anything that would not respond well to the techniques of hypnotherapy.
Okay. And I know you wrote a book, something about sex addiction, which you presented to the hypnosis. Is that a big thing nowadays, considered back in the day, 20, 30 years ago?
It's really interesting that the word pretty much sex addiction did not exist 30 years ago. I think that Dr. Patrick Carnes is who coined the phrase sex addiction. And he's written several books, and he does intensives, and he's very busy because it's a big problem today. It was a problem back when he was writing those early books, but it's a tsunami of a problem today. And that is because pornography is so much easily available right in a person's own home through the computers. And particularly, I think the tsunami today is the result of children having seen it in their own homes, and then they turn into adults who have the impulse control of a child. And there's no way to put a label on how dangerous pornography is to a child, and the lifetime of effort they spend after that trying to get over it. So it is a huge thing today.
Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to ask that because I had that question beforehand. Yeah. Getting more into the material. So, like I said, texted you earlier, but I'm going to allude to it in the audio. I had someone say I couldn't work with them because it had irritable bowel syndrome because it wasn't listed on my website. So the question was, if a hypnotist doesn't say list it on the website, what are people supposed to do?
I think, generally speaking, they can assume that whatever difficulty they're having, a well-trained hypnotist can help them. Even if they didn't list that item on their website. You know, I've had people come in and they'll have something I've never worked with before, and I'll follow the format we're trained to do, and it works. And sometimes I'm even surprised. Happily surprised. So, yeah, it doesn't have to be listed there for it to be effective.
Okay. And again, this one may be a little more in depth, but is hypnosis against Christianity or religion in general?
I only know of one religion that actually teaches frankly against it, and that would be Jehovah's Witness. Because I had a home health patient once, and they knew that I did hypnotherapy. I was there in their home as a nurse, though, and they did tell me that their religion was against it. A lot of people here in Utah, the LDS community, think that it's forbidden or something. But that isn't true. If they would look in the Bishop's Handbook of Instructions, it says it's just important if somebody uses hypnosis that they go to a well-trained individual who knows what they're doing. So part of that comes from the book written by Bruce R. McConkie years ago called Mormon Doctrine, and one of the things that he had in there is that hypnotism is to be avoided. And one of my colleagues years ago wrote him a letter and explained how hypnosis is used in a therapeutic setting. And he wrote back, and I have a copy of the letter, where he essentially said, I can find no fault with this. And so I believe what he was referring to is stage hypnosis, where it appears as though the hypnotist is controlling that individual, and that individual may be given over their free agency. But that's really an illusion. That's not what's going on. There's no one who would follow a suggestion that is not in harmony with their own values. And so given this other aspect of it in a therapeutic setting, Bruce R. McConkie found no fault with it, basically is what he was saying. In my practice, I've had LDS bishops send me clients as well as pay for them. It's more open today. We're experiencing a greater credibility with hypnosis than probably has ever been around. It's had stages where it went up and down in fluctuation on popularity, but it's definitely a bona fide practice today, given the person who knows what they're doing.
Okay. I would ask more, but again, this is not a LDS hypnotist podcast, so maybe I'll ask you after the audio goes off. The last question that I really had was, where can people find you, and what events do you have coming up for yourself?
Okay. My website is www.brigham-hypnosis.com, or they can email me at hypnotist46@gmail.com, or they can call me at 435-720-1678. I'll get back to them as quickly as possible. And as far as things coming up, I have just completed the first 4 sessions in my fall 2018 hypnosis training course. If someone did call at this point in the next week, because we don't meet again for 2 weeks, we just did it this past weekend, and so there is time, they can still catch up. I could do another first weekend, and then they can complete the course with this group I have right now. There won't be another course until springtime.
Okay. When would that be? Like April, March?
Probably March and April. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
we do not do every other weekend 4 times.
So that's again 8 days, right?
Yes.
Okay. So again, if you want to do that with Martha, you have her contact information as well. So, and again, thank you again for doing this for us. And
it's delightful. It's good to see you.
You too, eh?
Again, this is the Achilles Hypnosis Podcast. Thank you for listening. Remember that I do have a book coming out, Divorce Pornography. Should be out late October, early November. And also planning on doing some events on the weekend of the 14th of November as well. So be posted on Facebook. I'm on Facebook as Achilles Hypnosis. That's my Facebook page. And also on Instagram at Achilles Hypnosis. So there you can keep up with that. Again, thank you for listening. This is the Achilles Hypnosis Podcast. I'm Taylor Lancaster, certified consulting hypnotist. And I'll hear from you soon.